Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of The Boys Gen V Episode 6, Jumanji! An episode that has nothing to do with a magical board game and everything to do with a terrifying soup who can trap you inside her mind and make you relive your worst moments. Remember Cate telling Rufus to hit himself in the crotch with a baseball bat and shout, Jumanji! Was the first time we saw her use her powers on the show, and we are about to see a lot more of what she can do. Also, both the original Jumanji movie and the remake feature characters being sucked into a new reality where the stakes are life and death. So let's dive into all the Easter eggs and details and make some guesses about what exactly Dean Shetty's long game is. We open on Cate restoring Emma's memories of Sam the Woods, crawling through that guy's brain, and everything else she'd forgotten over the past few days. Emma has a very Keanu reaction.
Wow.
She calls Cate a see you next Tuesday and takes off to find Sam. Around the room we see posters for Dawn of the Seven and one that says girls get it done, which was a slogan Vought came up with during the short period of time when there were 3 women on the 7. Cate has been pushing too hard and she's doing some serious damage that goes beyond just burst blood vessels in her eyes. It turns out she can hear thoughts, which is an element of her powers we haven't seen before, but we'll get into why a little later. Marie tells Andre that getting into God U was the best day of her life, but then she realized it wasn't any different than the Red River Institute, where she grew up after accidentally killing her parents. This is similar to something Starlight told Huey and the boys about how being admitted to the 7 was everything she'd worked toward before realizing how awful it was. The world of Vought and Soups is just full of disappointment. Now Marie has a lot of empathy for Cate, maybe because of what she went through when she was younger. She says that they were all screwed over and Cate is no different. Andre ain't convinced though. But you know, he was the only one of them who was betrayed by someone he was in love with. Jordan calls the others for help because Cate is seizing and there's this hilarious exchange.
Can you learn CPR?
Where?
At superhero school? Jesus!
Yeah, we know that soups tend to end up causing a lot of collateral damage even when they're just going about their day-to-day lives, so honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea to at least teach them basic first aid. Marie discovers yet another new element of her powers when she speeds Cate's pulse up, essentially stabilizing her like a shot of adrenaline. In the woods, Dr. Cardosa has made progress with his virus, successfully infecting a soup named Betsy, who seems to have electricity powers. She's looking a bit worse for wear, and when she tries to use her ability, it just sort of fizzles, which is the whole point of this. Cardosa tells Shetty that non-powered humans can't get infected because the virus attaches to the compound V in the bloodstream. I hypothesized last episode that Marie might be able to depower a soup with her powers, essentially locating the V in their bloodstream and burning it out of them, and now I think that she might be able to do the same thing with this virus. If a soup is infected, she could search for it in their blood and potentially cure them. Now, when it's chilly outside, I just want to get cozy in my house and watch TV without having to trudge down the street for a latte. And now, thanks to Ipsos I Say, I can have my favorite coffee delivered to me for free by using the Visa gift card I get from answering surveys. Ipsos I Say lets you earn extra cash through gift cards and rewards just by taking part in research and answering a few simple questions. There's a ton of different gift cards to choose from, but my favorite is the Visa. I can use it anywhere for anything, which gives me the most options to pick out free stuff for myself. The surveys on Ipsos I Say are quick, easy, and tailored to my interests, so it never gets boring. I do them while I'm brushing my teeth, or stuck on hold, or just have a few minutes to kill. I upgraded my downtime, so you can too. Just click the link in the description to start earning rewards with Ipsos I Say today. And also, like I mentioned last episode, this virus does seem to be similar to the legacy virus from X-Men, which at first affected only mutants, but then mutated itself to begin infecting humans. This is why you gotta be careful with viruses as bioweapons, folks. You never know how it's gonna mutate. Shetty tells Cardosa not to inform Vought of his discovery, but instead to concentrate the dose and see how sick they can make Betsy. Now, I have some thoughts about what Shetty's up to and why later on. Andre moves Cate to a couch, which honestly, he also probably shouldn't have done. Don't these guys watch medical shows? And Cate makes everyone pass out and get stuck inside her mind, including poor Dusty, who had the misfortune of entering the room at the wrong time and has no freaking clue what's going on. Neither do the others though at first, especially when they start seeing memories from Cate's childhood. This is similar to what Mindstorm did to Butcher in season 3 of The Boys. He trapped Butcher in an endless loop of bad memories that he couldn't wake up from. We saw Butcher lying unconscious just like the Gen V group does here. In that scenario, Mindstorm did it on purpose, but he had years to perfect his abilities, so maybe Cate will get better at controlling this down the line. This is very similar to the Scarlet Witch attacking Professor Xavier when he was inside her mind in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, back in episode 3, Cate told Marie that when she was 9, she was camping with her family when she told her annoying little brother to go away and never come back. That was the first time her powers manifested, and despite everyone mounting a search party, her brother never showed up. We see the aftermath of that here in Cate's first memory.
Mommy, it was an accident. Why did Caleb listen to me? He never does.
I don't feel safe with her.
And then we get the cameo everyone was so excited about after last week's preview, Soldier Boy! Well, it's kind of Soldier Boy. Notice how he's introduced with some kind of horn orchestration.
What in the f***?
Soldier Boy?
It's kind of like his Captain America theme. Dun, 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 dun. But yes, this version of Soldier Boy is actually Kate's imaginary friend from when she was little, and he's way too excited to explain to everyone how he helped Kate, awaken sexually. You get it. It's wrong. Lock this man up. But the fact that he's like so loyal to her kind of reminds me of the imaginary boyfriend in Riley's mind in Pixar's Inside Out, but far less wholesome. He tells all of them that if they don't figure out why Kate pulled them in, they'll get stuck in her mind forever, and as more and more blood vessels burst in Kate's brain, symbolized by the flashes of lightning they keep seeing, higher the likelihood is that they'll just be obliterated.
Then the single most important thing I can tell you.
Yep, classic! And sure to make fans furious that they didn't get more Jensen Ackles screen time. Now we should also say that this episode using the setting of collapsing memories is a conceit that we've seen in titles like Inception, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Legion on FX, which I think just edges out The Boys as the best superhero TV series. Nothing against the MCU, it's just that the MCU's been better with singular movies than episodic television. Daredevil season 1 is up there, but so I don't get yelled at, they're all miles behind Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I just love the visual aesthetic of how they show it here, like with the memories crumbling apart, but only having like a portal or a doorway that assembles from the broken pieces, just as a cool way of symbolizing how Kate is always trying to find an exit strategy from these haunting memories. Meanwhile, at the drive-in, Sam eats the Deep Bot Tots Twists, which seems to be similar to Twizzlers, but the container he eats them out of has the same deep puppet on it that Sam was imagining on the TV a few episodes back. So to me, this is strong evidence that there actually is a Voss kids show starring Jason Ritter in the Boys universe, and that it wasn't just a hallucination completely made up by Sam. It's actually very similar to how Black Noir took the characters from Buster Beavers and made them part of his own visions. Emma comes back to tell Sam she remembers everything, and they hug in front of this claw machine game labeled Polarity's Magnetic Madness with what looks like Funkos and other toys and stuffed animals inside. Maybe one of the Funkos is of A-Train. Huey had one of those in his bedroom in The Boys, if you remember. Emma and Sam get it on, and it's his first time, which yeah, he's been locked up since he was a kid. Makes sense. The song playing is 2017's Don't Delete the Kisses by Wolf Alice. The most interesting part of the scene is when Emma turns into a puppet in his mind. Not only is it a hilarious visual, it's also something that Sam only seems to do when he is stressed or in an unfamiliar situation. And we get this nice little puppet homage to Titanic. Where to, miss? To the stars. Back in Kate's mind, the group tries to figure out what is happening, while Dusty just tries to keep up. Other than looking young but actually being 28, we're still not sure what his powers are. He wears a Berserk t-shirt from the Japanese manga series and a robe that says the Magic Isle, which you can actually buy from H&M. This is from their summer 2022 Magic Isle capsule collection. Soups, they're just like us. The next memory they see is of a slightly older Kate getting a visit from Dean Shetty. Kate's parents have kept her in a heavily locked and fortified room for 9 years, and her mom is still clearly terrified of her, which is just heartbreaking. She's in a perfect spot mentally to be manipulated by Shetty. But isn't it interesting that her fortified, armored room trapping her inside is very similar to the security protocol that is on all the dorm rooms at God U? So that transition for her wasn't that difficult. And just a reminder that all those students at God U are probably going to end up under lockdown at some point. On her walls, there are various posters, one for the movie Queen Maeve, Her Majesty, one for the movie Whiskey Sunrise starring Crimson Countess, and a poster for a Soldier Boy and Crimson Countess rom-com, which has them standing above a city skyline, distinct When Harry Met Sally vibes. And also there's this poster of a horse. Yeah, Kate was totally a horse girl. Who'd have guessed it? Shetty goes full court press on Kate, telling her she's not afraid of her, saying it wasn't her fault, taking off her gloves, and finally offering a hug. It's everything Kate has ever wanted for the past 9 years from her mom, so of course she's ready to do anything Shetty tells her to do. It's interesting that Shetty seems unafraid of Soup powers though. The only Soup she's really seemed nervous around so far is Tech Knight, but maybe that's because his power was the ability to see if she was lying. But let's not forget that Shetty is a psychologist who is well versed in working with superpowered kids and young adults, so she's adept at emotionally controlling the Soups. It's possible that she has some sort of immunity to them, we just don't know yet. Kate says that the voices she hears, which I assume are people's thoughts, are so loud, and Shetty gives her a pill to take every day to make them go away. Remember back in episode 2, we saw a whole slew of pills in Kate's room, and she took one of these blue ones, so I guess they work, and she's been on them for years. I wonder if these pills are some sort of early, mild form of the virus that Shetty and Cardosa have been working on to dampen powers. This whole scene has a major Dumbledore meeting Tom Riddle vibe to it, if you ask me. A trustworthy and powerful adult going to see a kid everyone is afraid of, to take them away to a school where they will learn to use their powers. Hopefully Kate doesn't turn into a Voldemort-esque monster like Tom Riddle did. And yes, this is also the same process that every Jedi did before Order 66. They took the children. In the next memory, Kate meets Luke, who actually breaks her the memory to talk directly to Andre.
We should leave. I can't be here.
I miss you, man.
After this heartwarming declaration, he actually outs Andre to the others for hooking up with Cate while Luke was still alive. In hindsight, it did seem like Andre and Cate got together very soon after Luke's death, so, this gives us a whole new perspective on the overlapping period there. Luke loses it and ends up blasting poor Dusty, who we never see again this whole episode, so I'm not really clear on what happened to him. Like, if he really died in Kate's mind, wouldn't his body still be there when the others wake up later? Was he never really there to begin with and might have always just been a projection from Kate's mind? Maybe this will be cleared up next episode. Everyone realizes their powers ain't working here, so they outrun Luke and run right into another memory. This time, it's one of Jordan's. We get to see both their male persona and their female persona together on screen for the first time, which is pretty cool. Apparently, Cate can pull memories from people's heads because she wasn't even there to witness this one. Luke is screaming at Brink, demanding to see his brother and to know the truth. Brink injected him with something to try to neutralize him, but apparently it wasn't strong enough, so he signals to Jordan to use the gas mask on him, and Jordan uses it to put Luke down. As a thank you, Brink gives Jordan the TA position. These memories are showing us that all of them have blood on their hands, and being mad at Cate is hypocritical. They've all betrayed someone or done something terrible. It's kind of like that movie Clue at the end, where we see the third scenario, this is what really happened, and all of them kind of have blood on their hands, except Mr. Green, who goes home to sleep with his wife. I guess the Mr. Green of this episode is either Sam or Emma, because they're the only ones who haven't really done anything bad. But just like he did with Luke, Brink brings up the memory of recruiting Jordan when they were just a scared kid to manipulate them into doing what he wants. Kate's getting worse, bleeding from her eye, and she pulls everyone into a memory of the woods. Shetty, Cardosa, and Brink are transfusing blood from Sam into Luke, likely to try to make Luke stronger like Brink wanted. In episode 1, Brink commented that Luke was burning stronger than ever, likely as a result of these secret blood transfusions. But Luke wakes up, Cate makes him forget that this is happening, to forget about the woods and forget that Sam is still alive. Then we see a bunch of instances where she made him forget. She tells Shetty and Brink that it isn't working, and Luke is starting to remember despite her efforts, and Brink shrugs off her concerns, and Shetty looks directly at the others and orders Cate to make them forget too. They run from her and into Marie's memory of her parents right after she killed them. Annabeth is still sitting in the blood, and Marie tries to talk to her and explain what happened and why. This tearful reunion leads to Marie forgiving herself. She didn't understand her powers, and neither did Cate, who was the first person to tell her that all of this wasn't her fault. She tells Cate to wake up with them because they are all messed up. In the overhead shot of Kate's room, there is a Cold Snap comic on the desk. We saw Cold Snap in season 3 of The Boys at Herogasm, and it looked like he survived Soldier Boy's explosion because he was being carted away on a stretcher at the end of that episode. Andre takes a different approach than Marie and yells at Cate that she has a choice and she needs to choose to wake up. And you know what? That works. Everyone wakes up shaken and confused, not sure what is real. Kind of like the people who wake up on the floor after a major trippy inception, but their powers are back. So that's how they know they're officially out of the weird mind prison. Isn't that kind of a bummer that this curse you were born with is the only way you know that you're alive? Now there's some weird cuts, and Jordan, Cate, and Marie go to the area where we last saw Dusty before Cate vanished and the mind games began, but there is no mention of Dusty. Justice for Dusty! It's also possible that the guy was just a red shirt who was added in to up the stakes and tension of this episode, but I just think it's one of those weird production or editing things. Emma and Sam burst in, and Sam understandably flips out when he sees Cate and needs to be talked down from the edge. While he's busy tossing everyone around like rag dolls, or I guess like puppets, there's a poster on the wall for the movie Big Crazy Love, and on it, written in marker, Sloane was here. Sloane was the alpaca that we saw last episode, so this seems to confirm that Sloane might be a soup that can turn into an alpaca, or a soup that can turn into different animals. You know, like the Animorphs! It's just because an alpaca definitely wouldn't have such nice handwriting. They're hooved. Marie wants Cate to tell them about the woods, and Sam says Shetty had them doing bad stuff to everyone down there.
She hates us.
Shetty was directing it all.
And back in the woods, Cardosa is freaking out and tells Shetty that he was just following orders, and we know who else historically has used that as an excuse. Yeah, maybe you are the bad guy here, dude. The concentrated dose of the virus killed Betsy, who is covered in blood and boils, and Shetty isn't horrified, she's excited. And I like how the sound swells, and it drops out right before she says her final line so that it lands like a ton of bricks.
Now can you make it contagious?
Oh my God. And we end on the Bangles' Hazy Shade of Winter playing over the credits. So what exactly is Shetty's deal, and how does it tie into the larger Boys universe? Is she just another Vought puppet that's following orders, or is she playing her own game? Well, I think the answer lies in something she said to Marie a few episodes back. She mentioned a daughter, and when Marie asked her about it, she responded that she had a daughter, past tense. My guess is that her daughter died from something a soup did, some collateral damage from a mission gone wrong, maybe even some event that we've heard mentioned before in The Boys. That loss instilled Shetty an intense hatred of soups. Just like Sam said, she hates us. I think that Vought doesn't actually know about the woods or the experiments going on down there. I mean, think about it. There is no way Vought would want a transmissible virus on the loose that could cost them their biggest assets. A decent way to control them or dampen their powers, sure, but they definitely wouldn't want something as unpredictable as a virus out in the world. Maybe Shetty just made Cardosa think that this was all on the up and up. She made him think that this virus was all a way to control Soups, to depower them for periods of time, when in actuality her true goal is to wipe all of them out, exterminate them all. If this is the case, this would be a very interesting parallel to The Boys. In The Boys, we are meant to empathize with those who have been affected by the Soups and see their side of things. Soups are destructive and hedonistic, and innocent people get caught in their crossfire. So when one of the Soups is killed, it kind of feels like justice. But on Gen V, we've spent all season getting to know these young Soups, their relatable issues and insecurities, and honestly, if one of them dies, I'm gonna be crushed. Protect Emma at all costs. So now we see the other side of the coin. Soups and their unchecked power are destructive, but so is all-consuming hatred of them. Shetty doesn't want their powers taken away, she wants them dead, even the ones who haven't done anything wrong. And I think that unless our Soups can get a handle on their powers and get over their issues, they are in for a very, very bad and oil-filled time. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this Shetty theory. Is it a Shetty theory or a shitty theory? Subscribe to New Rockstars and the Deep Dive in the Break Room, and you can support us by grabbing some merch over at nerdright.shop. Follow me at Erik Voss, follow New Rockstars, and subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching, bye.